Now let's go to staves and clefs. Already you know what a stave is. A stave is just what? 5 lines and 4 spaces. That's the standard manuscript for writing music. We write music on the stave. So that's your stave is like your textbook for music. That's where you write music. Okay? It's 5 lines, 4 spaces. But you can extend the stave with ledger line, just short line above, horizontal lines above or below the stave to kind of keep it. But the standard stave is 5. Okay, 5 lines, 4 spaces. Now those lines and spaces, they have names. And you have to know that. It's very important. They have names, letter names. Okay, because in music, we make use of letter what? A to G. A to what? G. When you get to G, you go back to A. So how do you know which line in the stave or which space on the stave is A or B or C? It is the clef that will tell you that. The clef is what tells you what letter names the stave should have. So primarily we have how many types of clef? 2 types of clef, like you know. Number 1 is the treble or the G clef. Number 2 is the what? The bass or F clef. Please note this. Any of these you see in your music exam, they are the same. Bass F, treble G. Note that. Okay? Now, if we go to the... let's start with the treble clef quickly so that we can wrap this section off. If we go to the treble clef, for example, we go to the treble clef, okay? You draw your 5 lines. By now, you should know how to draw treble clef. I'll be surprised if there's any one of you here that is still struggling with treble clef. That's elementary, okay? Then, normally, you want to end with your double bar lines. You want to end with to show that this is the end of the stave. And then your single bar line to show that this is the beginning. So, now, the G clef or the treble clef, you know how to draw it. Where do you start drawing it from? They say it's from the second line. So how do you now for this treble, for a stave, I should mention for a stave, you count from down to up, just like a ladder. You don't start counting from up. Am I right? You start counting. Line 1 is here. This is line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. Okay? So from what line do you start drawing your G clef, your treble clef? Line 2. So you should know how to draw that. You know, you go simple. Okay? So you should know how to draw that. So that's this. Now, because you started on line, what's the line you started on? G. Sorry, line 2. So you just call that line 2 line G. The originate, because it's G clef, line G. You start from line 2. So from there, if you know like that second, if you know that the second, thank you. If you know that the second line is line G, you can name every other thing up or name every other thing down. All right. So if you want to name when you are naming, you name a line, a space, a line, a space. Don't forget. So if this is G, what would this space be? It's just simple. I said after G, you go to it because when you are counting up. It's different from when you are counting as like you are going back. So this one you're going up, and then this is B, C, D, E, F, and then if you are counting back, this will be what? This will be what? Don't go and say this is hail. You are counting back, so this is F, and this is E. So you know the acronyms for your lines. Every good boy deserves favor or face for your space. So you have these acronyms at the back of your hand. You will need them when you start doing construction of major scales to know which one is line G. So you have to, in fact, when you get to the exam, that's part of the thing you should write down on your plain sheet. Every good boy deserves favor, face. This is, you write down those things that will boost your memory. All right? These are part of, so this is for G clef. Okay? For F clef or for bass clef, if we have the same 5 lines, 4 spaces. So All right. We have the same 5 lines. Where do we start our F clef from? 4th line. So that line should be naturally what? F, because remember F clef, where you start it from is the name. F. So you can say, you put the F here, then you can just name up and down. Once you know one, you can, as long as you get that one correct, then this is G, A, you start going down here. This is E, this is D. Remember, a line is spaced. This is C, this is B, this is A, and then this is what? G. So you know the acronyms. Good boy, decisive, always. All Christians exalt God. So know the acronyms for the lines and for your spaces. Please, this is very important. You need to memorize it. You need to know it. Okay? And need to know also that in between, this is the treble clef. I mean the treble stave, because it has the treble clef, and this is the bass stave. In between this, you have what you call the middle C. Because this is A, all right? Then this space is what? B. Then you have the ledger line C. Then the space after the ledger line is what? After the line is space. After a line, there's always a space. The space after is D. Then you now have this line E. So that's how they connect. So please, after a ledger line, there's always a space. Always note that, please. All right. So that's all about staves and clefs. Any question about that? I think it's fairly straightforward. We shouldn't spend much time on that. Now, the next thing is accidentals. Accidentals. So accidentals, let's clean this quickly and talk about accidentals. Okay. All right. So for accidentals, there are only that you have been. How many accidentals were you told that we have at this level? How many accidentals will you be looking at? What are they? Sharp, flat, natural. You should know the sign. And what do they do? What does a sharp does? By a semitone. And a flat does what? Raises, reduces. Sharp raises a note by a semitone. All right? Flat reduces a note by a semitone. What does a natural sign do? What does a natural sign? What? To the original level. Okay, to the original level. All right. So just note that, please. It's very important. We're going to use it when we go to construction of scales, so that you will know all those letters A, B, C. By the time you apply sharp, it changes from that letter to something else. A semitone. So that takes me to what is a semitone. We are going to look at all those things in the next part. What is a tone? Which is 2 semitones. All right, we're going to look at all those in the next part. But just note this. Note what a sharp does. Note what a flat does. And note what a natural sign does. Any question? Then, when we come back, we are going to now go into the real nitty-gritty, which is the construction of major scales. That is where you need to. So we're going to look at construction. I'm not going to do all the construction of the major scales. I'll just do only one. The principle of one is what you will use for the other ones. All right? So we're going to revise only one, and then you apply that principle on the other ones you are doing. And after that, we look at major triads, and I think that should be the end. Then terms and signs. Then we'll now look at the questions. We'll now do an online mock exam. All of you will do an online mock exam. We'll see what you score. Then we'll look at how to register for the exams and things like that. All right? Okay. Thank you very much. God bless you.